Ash Grunwald, welcome to London. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you very much, Katie. How are you going?
I'm very well. It's a bit cold outside though.
Yeah, a bit overcast.
We're warming up in here though. Now, what do you think of London? Because I know you've been here a couple of times.
Well, I just started coming here this year for the first time. I've really loved it. It's been really good. And toured a little bit around England. At the start of this tour, I went back to Cornwall and Devon, and I went over to Wales for a gig as well. And that's been really good. And I just really get along really well with the people, and it's just been really good.
So you went down to Cornwall. I was going to ask you what you miss most about Australia when you're over touring in Europe and all that type of thing. Did you do a spot of surfing when you were down there?
I went and checked it with a friend. Last time I was here, which was in summer here, I did surf quite a bit down there, and there was one day that was pretty good, and then the other days were just fun, muck around days. But the people down there are really, the surfers are just really keen on different boards and mucking around, and they're really keen, and there's a really good atmosphere down there.
And it's interesting you say that, because I was going to ask you, you're at the end of this European tour and you've got a couple of gigs left at the Shepherd's Bush Empire in London. What place in Europe has hit the spot for you this time round?
I do love going to France. Actually, one of the gigs that I did with the Cat Empire in Paris at the Bataclan, I don't know if I'm saying that right, that was great. That was really good. They had about 1,200 people there, and it was just really fun. But Belgium's always good. I do a fair bit of stuff in Belgium, and I really like the people and the beer and the chocolate.
You're supporting Cat Empire. What's the vibe like backstage with them? I mean, you must be getting pretty comfortable. Do you have some jams and all that type of thing?
Not as such, but I mean, I've known those guys for a little while, just through the festival circuit and whatnot. And they are really top fellas, all of them. They are just really friendly, and I mean, I don't know why sometimes we expect people who are doing really well to somehow be arrogant. I don't even know the reason for that, but they're certainly, not got what you would think to be the any arrogance, that may go along with a lot of success, and they certainly have had a lot of success. The other thing is, I go and watch them every night and just never get bored, because they are the best band. They just, especially live, they're just from doing these supports actually and just watching them, they've definitely become my favourite band. Like, they're sick.
Well, that must be an honour then to kind of tour with them. And they do. It's the type of gig that you're going to go to and have fun. There's some gigs that you go to and you end up coming out kind of feeling pretty down almost. But with the Cat Empire, you're going to come out smiling, sweat dripping off you, and having a good time. Now, you play solo, obviously, and acoustic. Tell me about the instruments for the people who haven't seen you live, a live Ash Grunwald experience. Tell them about what you use.
Well, it's not very acoustic. I play a National normally. All the gear is in the trailer at the moment with the Cat Empire, but I play a National, but it's got a electric a Gibson pickup on it, and I use a lot of foot pedals and stuff like that, so I get basically a sound like a bass guitar going, and I get a heavy kind of electric guitar sound going, and I've always got it mic'd, the acoustic bit mic'd up as well, and then I use different effects and stuff. And then on my feet, I have a kick drum sound on my left foot, and also a sound over sort of usually here that goes doo. I don't know what that's called. I call it a boom, but it's a something. And then I sit on a cajon, which is a thing for playing hand percussion, but I play it with the heel of my right foot, and that gives a snare drum sound. So, I don't know, just try and get a one-man band kind of sound. And then I have some distorted vocals too that I use. And it's just, playing solo is really fun. Like you see, say, Xavier Rudd, or, there's a million different soloists that you see around, or a fair few these days that you see around the place, and overseas you see others and whatever. And people, you come to it as a one-man band with a certain problem, which is to make it as big as you can. And everybody solves that in a different way, and that's what I really love about the sort of genre of the one-man band.
Now, who are your main influences? Were you always into blues, or were there other phases as you were growing up?
I really did, as soon as I had musical tastes of my own, which, was about 12 or 13 or whatever, I did go down that blues path and just loved just blues, all different kinds of blues. So electric blues and heavy guitar soloing blues and Delta blues, which is just the old guys playing the national guitar and stuff. And also I got into Hendrix and Cream and all that sort of 60s kind of blues-based rock. And then some of the riffy songs of Lenny Kravitz. Yeah. You know, that one he did with Slash, Mama Said, that's pretty cool. And like there's just little things that I grabbed out of mainstream as well, like I don't know, the heavy riffs that you found in that Blood Sugar Sex Magic album of the Chili Peppers and Rage Against the Machine, you know, just a few of those songs that make you...
They go the dreads again.
Yeah. See, that's where maybe that thing came from, but, you know, just anything that really, I don't know, anything that's got that kind of primal vibe, it's sort of the same as blues, even though it's not blues. Even some hip-hop now I really like because it's just got that kind of thing. I don't know what it is, but I like that thing, whatever that is, and I look for that in all different styles.
It works. Influences from everywhere. Now, I've got some fan questions for you. They've sent them, most of them all the way over from Australia, so I've got to get these in. First of all, now, I must point out to the listeners, we are in Gibson Guitar headquarters, and Ash has been upstairs and chosen his guitar, which is exactly the same guitar as you have at home.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Gibson 137, and it sounds really cool, this one. So that was very nice of them to lend us this gear, and I've also stolen their kick drum as well to give me a bit of a stomp sound. So that worked out well.
Yeah, it did. Good actually. Now, Steph wants to know, and we were talking about this earlier, do you still have your first guitar?
I don't have my very first nylon string guitar, but I have my first electric guitar, which is a really crap old brand called Kenora, and it's like from the 60s, and it's basically unplayable. And my granddad gave it to me, and then he stole it back off me, and then I stole it back off him when he died. So that's pretty cool.
So it's a family heirloom now,
it
basically.
It is, really.
Or an artifact.
Yeah, and he used to do funny things like he'd just like rebuild guitars and take them apart and rip the frets off another guitar and put them together and then spray paint it another colour and just do weird things like that. So it means a lot to me and it reminds me of him, so it's really good to have.
Guitars with character. Now, Axel wants to know, Axel said there's a lot of buskers in Europe and you've probably seen them around the place. Have you had a shot at it yourself? A bit of impromptu music making in the streets?
I have done a bit of busking here or there over the years. I think that's really good for your playing, busking, and just trying to grab people in. And I think I see myself as a busker on stage. I think I'm doing exactly the same thing. I also did a lot of touring around when I first started out, playing to people who didn't really want to hear what I had to play, like in country towns and whatever, and just different places where what I was doing just seemed really weird and I seemed really weird and whatever. And I felt like that was busking as well, because they were just there to watch the horse races and drink and look the other way. And it was my job to try and win them over like a busker tries to win people over. And I think it's really good for your playing.
Ben wants to know, where do you eventually want to retire? So this is looking way ahead, of course.
Oh, wow. I mean, I think I always will be travelling. But I just think, you know, it would probably be in Australia, unless it was in Mentawais in Indonesia. It would definitely be based around surf, for sure. But, you know, like there's a lot of, you know, Byron has, you know, maybe in some people's view, well, in everybody's view, I guess, been corrupted to a certain extent, you know, in terms of like becoming really busy and whatever. But that's only because it's like a full-on paradise, you know, and it's a great place to be. And every time I'm in Byron, I'm happy. So I think somewhere around Byron Bay could always be a really good compromise as well.
I ask this of every artist. What's the most memorable gig you've ever been to as an audience member?
I don't know. No one gig really sticks out to me, but you know, I just have things that I go to a gig and, you know, you do get moved when you see something amazing and you just start frothing on it and telling everybody, and then you forget about it and then move on to something else. At the moment, for me, it's the Cat Empire.
Yep.
I just, you know, the way they're playing at the moment, their music keeps evolving and their gigs, is just not a dull moment at all in their gigs, and party music, but it's still so musical, and they're just such gifted musicians. So I would just say that, you know, that last gig at, especially the one in Paris, watching them was that was a really amazing gig.
And nice blokes too. Well,
Yeah.
people can get out there and see them this weekend, and then see you at Shepherd's Bush Walkabout on Monday.
Yeah.
I'd love it for you to play for us.
Okay.
Great stuff. Thank you.